SHW. This is our wrestling.
This is insane what we're seeing right now.
We're going out tonight. It's been a long, long time. Make sure I look just right. It's going down.
Heads up, here comes the strap.
All hail the queen!
Another spear, will it be enough?
No, not this
like
way.
this, not like
Come
this,
on.
no.
This is just bedlam right now.
Hey, what is going on here?
Let's start this party, then I'll feel alright.
You've got to be kidding me.
Holy cow.
And now, the voices of SHW, Brandon Benefield, Gerard Bonner, and Diana Michelle.
What is going on, everybody? It's that time of week. It's Friday night. You know what that means. It's time for the SHW podcast. This is our wrestling. I'm B-Double Brandon Benefield, GB Gerard Bonner, the lovely Diana Michelle. We are the voices of SHW. We are V3.
I can't do this. V3.
What's up, y'all? We're coming off a very hot show, SHW 37 last Friday. We've got a lot to talk about. Not only do we want to talk about that show, but we also have a very special guest coming up, the one and only Jimmy Wang Yang. We're going to talk to him later in the show. But before we get there, SHW 37, guys, what a show. What a night.
Man,
What a night.
what a night. Monumental night for myself, and I won't go into detail for that, but feeling good. Feeling
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Big night. Big night.
Big night. Well, we started off, then we had a couple we talked about on the pre-show ahead of time, so we knew it was coming, but we didn't know until that day that there were going to be a couple changes on the card. And the thing is, it was like we went off without a hitch. That's the thing about SHW. The roster's so deep, you get last-minute replacements that end up being just as good, if not better, than what the match might have been to start with. You know, so starting out was one of those replacements who I should no longer call a replacement.
No, I will
Because-
not be caught calling him a replacement.
You can say what you want. I won't.
Yeah.
I'll make sure we're clear.
I'll be careful now because as I found out after this first match, SHW has a Carly problem.
Obviously.
Oh, yes.
So it was Carly Bravo showed up in place of Dylan McQueen to take on Jordan Kingsley. And what an opening match that was. What'd you guys think? Carly, it's always good to see Carly.
Always good to see Carly. Always full of energy. I never know what's going to happen with him. And I mean, he explodes. I mean, he's like dynamite. He comes out, he's electric. He's got something on his mind. He's going to take care of business. No matter what the outcome of the match is going to be, you're going to know that Carly Bravo was there. And like I said, I will never call him a replacement for anybody. I'm all about some bad news and tattoos.
We've said it, GB, for about a year and a half now. We've said it since the very first time we saw the guy. He has what people in the business like to call it.
Yeah, absolutely. We first saw him January 2021 in Class 1 of the Nightmare Factory, and it's scary to think what he has accomplished in less than 14 months. It's really incredible. And there's one thing that we said during the pre-show last week and on commentary, and I think this became a theme for the night, that sometimes the greatest opportunities are not necessarily for those with the greatest ability, but it's for those with the greatest availability. And so when you call somebody a replacement, they have the opportunity to come on and actually become a permanent fixture. And we'll talk more about that later. But for sure, when it comes to Carly Bravo, whenever we've called his matches, it's so weird. It's like he's the star,
Right.
even though he's there to face an established star. And I think he proved again why we have a Carly problem. And I personally am very glad that we now have a Carly problem. It's something that, quite frankly, of all the problems we could have, it's one that we need. And so I'm very, very thrilled because if that means what I think it means, then SHW 37 was definitely a good day. A wee bit of a kill that I can handle.
I think, yes. Well, we needed a permanent spot for Carly Bravo. Whether we've got that or not, I don't know. But every time that we've had to call on him to take the place of someone who couldn't make it. He's always answered the call, and he's always delivered, and the fans are behind him. And how can you not love Carly?
Well,
How
let me
can
go. Let me go one deeper. You wouldn't have V3 right now if there wasn't a space that was open that
That's right.
required availability.
That's right.
So, you know, two of the three of us showed up during a vacancy and we became permanent fixtures. And so
That's right.
it's proof that when you're available, great things can happen. And so you keep calling Carly and Carly keeps showing up. Make space at the table for him. He belongs
Okay.
there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And real quick, before we move on with the rest of the card, you talked about there being an availability and then somebody showing up and now they're part of the family. Let's give a special shout out to our boy DJ Tonic.
How
Hey,
about that?
DJ Taunt, man.
I
wonderful.
saw on social media that our general manager put it out there that DJ Tonic will be a fixture going forward at all of the
Yes.
SHW shows. How cool is that?
That makes me so happy. Oh my God. He brings so much into our new show. We need to have him on, guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm
We should
game
get
with that.
Kenton on here, man. DJ Tonic.
I'm game with that for
D-
sure.
Yes.
DJ Tonic.
I love
Yeah.
it.
That was so
Incredible.
good. It added
Incredible.
such a
Mm.
vibe, a cool vibe to the whole show.
Yes.
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm.
So that was very cool. But
Yes.
back to the matches here. And I do want to give a shout out to Jordan Kingsley, not to take anything away from him. Put on an
No.
incredible match. Actually came away with the
Right.
win. Although after the match, getting a beat down
Mhm.
by Carly, it didn't look like he was the winner, but he did in the record books get the W.
Right.
And shout out to Jordan Kingsley, who's slowly going to start working his way back up the ranks. I mean, he's been there since day one in the very first match at
Yeah.
SHW against one
Mhm.
AC Max. So Kingsley's been around the block and he's
Yeah.
just barely sniffed the title, the tag titles and the SHW title. So you know he's going to want some gold at some point.
Right.
He's
But-
due, man.
Oh, yeah.
He's due.
Oh yeah. So moving down the card, we had the People's Captain, Gunnar Miller. Everybody's throwing the C's up in the air. I think that's backwards. Is that yeah?
Mhm.
There you go. Throwing the C's up. I'm flipped on the camera. It's hard to remember what's what. The frat
So
daddy
funny.
Bryce Cannon finally showed back up. The match was supposed to take place a couple months ago, and you know, Cannon felt like he had a point to prove. He's trying to, much like Carly Bravo, wants a spot on the main roster. And SHW management said, well, if you can beat one of the top guys here, then maybe you can get a spot on the roster. Well, that guy was Gunnar Miller. And I wasn't feeling great about Bryce Cannon's chances for this matchup. We talked about at GB about, well, is Gunnar going to be focused on Tank? Will he be distracted? Well, it didn't work out that way. Gunnar still got the win. So
Mhm.
what'd you guys think?
I feel
Now, you
Yes,
have a
well,
history with Bryce, so
I
I don't
do.
know. How did you feel about
History,
Bryce?
I
What?
do. And I was not looking forward to him coming out again in my home show, making himself known. But I can't say that I was disappointed in his appearance. He did his job. He didn't lay down for Gunner. He gave him a fight. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't take anything away from Bryce except that he's a douche. But you know, it is what it is. Anybody who's gonna, mooch off your dad way after you've gone to college and got out of college and you're still calling yourself a frat daddy, carrying a paddle around. I mean, come on. But I gotta give him props because he held his own. I mean, he did. He got the beat down, but at the same time, he put on a good performance for that match. So, I mean, props to Bryce. I mean, I'll give it to him. So, maybe when I see him again, it won't be the same thing, but I can't be mad at him this time.
No, for sure. Diana, you were the one who first mentioned the focus issue that Gunnar
Yes.
Miller has. And it certainly was a question whether or not he'd be able to focus. But as Her would say, could you focus on me? Clearly, he was focused very much on the task at hand. And it was great to see. Probably the most focused we've seen Gunnar Miller in a long time. And that doesn't bode well for whoever is across from the ring, such was the case for Bryce Cannon.
Absolutely.
Very
And it also doesn't bode well for, I think, for Tank. And I don't know when that's going to happen, but at some point, these guys are going to be in a ring together. And after what happened last month with the trash bag or the grocery bag, I mean, that whole thing.
Man,
Whew,
that still
so,
gives me a hit in my stomach when I think
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
That was not a good. Mm-mm.
so I am going to bring up this next match. I'm a little hesitant only because my ears are still ringing from my headphones from GB calling this match live at the show the other night. And that's not a knock. It's just you were very passionate and it was very intense. I'll let you tee it up.
You already knew. You
No,
already knew.
no. You go ahead because something very interesting happened that night.
Well,
So
here we go.
Go forth.
I will say that Heather Monroe made her debut in SHW, and she
Agreed.
faced. I'm going to leave this to you. And she faced.
You should no. I want you to acknowledge her.
Well, I'm just going to say she faced Reka Tahaka, but I knew you were going to say it in a very special way.
No.
So I'm going to let you do it because that's your thing.
Well, let me do it, and I'm going to prove to you that I, like Michael Jackson said, I'm feeling very musical tonight. I am not alone. All right. She is the queen of all things SHW. Queen Reka Tahaka came back to check on her throne. And what was so interesting to me was that, you and a few others I see people out there in the socials who try to make it like it's only me, that I am on an island of one. But there were many in the crowd. Like I said, I was on an island of one.
At least two.
There were many in the crowd who joined me in acknowledging our queen. It was a chant throughout the SHW arena. It was special to the point where Heather Monroe actually fashioned her hands to attempt to say she was going to knock the queen off of her throne. So I'm just saying this. I don't want any cut. I don't want any credit, but I just want it to be known that I am not alone. The queendom was well represented. And so there are people who were hollering about someone else who was allegedly their queen. The people spoke at SHW 37 and they acknowledged her.
They did.
Our tribal queen.
They did. I heard so.
You heard it.
People. I did.
Thank you,
Also
Diana.
the queen. It was music. It was almost
wasn't it?
like hallelujah. It really was. They had a beat. They had a flow. They were singing her praises.
Now I want to be very clear. I did not meet with anybody before the show to ask them to join me. I was not trying to manipulate the audience. There was no crowd sounds being pumped in. No. This is what naturally happened. And it was my honor
obviously
to serve the queen.
Obviously, you have
I was
some
shocked.
people
It
who
was
are following
beautiful.
you and who agree that Reka is the queen.
It was more than some.
There was a large amount of fans.
Diana, you're a woman of truth.
It's true.
This is why you are so
I
beloved.
heard it. My side partner that was with me, he was in the middle of it.
He was in the middle. He was in the middle.
Yeah.
He tried to lay down the law. I get it. But it was beautiful to see the remnant, the wonderful remnant. And now, right now, of the three of us, Brandon is the only one who does not want to acknowledge her.
No, she's the. I said it on commentary after the match. I guess
What did you
she's
say?
The queen. She's the queen.
Aha!
There you go.
Look at that.
There you
Look
go.
at that.
There
It's a
you
beautiful
go.
day.
But it just
Beautiful
sounds
day.
so much better coming from you. It's
It
coming
really
from you.
does.
Well, I have no problem singing the praises of the queen.
No.
And-
Here's the thing. I want
to hear it.
I'm trying to get you to sing it,
Sing
and
it.
you just said the word sing. But
Well,
you did.
I actually did
when I-
one thing better.
when I tee it up, I'm like, will he sing it?
But I did one thing better though, and I have to admit, I almost should apologize. A fan actually said to me they thought I was going to be unbiased, and I was. But when you ever been to a concert where you just have an amazing experience, and you didn't plan to chant that loud, you didn't plan to sing to the top of your lungs, you didn't plan to get on stage, it just happens. I didn't plan to get up out of my seat and lead the crowd in acknowledging our queen, but they followed, and it was a moment. You know,
The glory,
it
the
was
glory of Rebecca just raised you out of your seat.
I'm telling you.
Yes, I watched you. It was like you were lifted up
And
off of your feet.
high
even.
and lifted up. And
High
I don't know. Did you all see the queen acknowledge me
I
as
did.
I acknowledged her?
I
It was
did.
wonderful. All hail.
Oh,
That moment
All
needs to
hail.
be recorded.
Enshrined in SHW history, and it shall be.
Definitely. Definitely.
as soon as it hits
So
IWTV.
Oh,
saith the queen.
listen.
Well,
Undeniable.
needless to say, Heather Monroe, thanks for coming. It wasn't her night. She was
No,
going
but
toe to toe with the queen.
did do well. She did well.
She did.
Put
She
on a
did
great
well.
show. And here's the thing: they had a history. You know, I think it was her fourth match, at least in the
Correct.
state of Georgia.
Mhm.
And now Rekka leads that series 3-1.
Of
So
course.
Yes.
there you go.
There it is.
Following that, which I mean, I know it's hard, almost
was
nearly
hard to
impossible to
follow.
follow anything with the queen.
Nearly impossible.
Should have been in a show.
So, general manager comes out.
He's
some
the only
things to
one
say.
that could have followed that in that environment. I get it.
Don't give
I
him
get it.
those kind of props. Come on, man. Really?
Yeah, you know, it's his house, right?
I mean, this is how
Yeah.
his rules, his house.
But after as much hype as you just gave the queen, I'm just shocked that you would say that. That's all.
What he doesn't impact the queendom.
We're all guests.
Gotcha.
In the
Well,
Lane
isn't
house.
the queendom SHW? Isn't? And you said that's his house.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
confused how it all works. Is it?
she can't be the king.
I'm stepping
She
out.
can't be the king. She's the queen.
Yeah, but
He's
it's a
the
weird thing to think
godfather of
about.
Canton.
Godfather of Canton. That's
Okay.
different than
So this
being
is
the king.
Completely
Queen.
different.
It's queen and a
Mhm.
godfather. I
There
get
it
all
is.
my movies mixed up here.
You
Anyways,
know. Yeah.
so he comes out. He's got a whole lot to say, and then especially focused on the Lynch brothers who had attacked him the month before. They come out with a microphone. We had been told ahead of time we're going to hear something. We were thinking maybe we'll get some answers for their actions from the previous month. However, we did not get a whole lot of words before they started to get in the ring. It looked like they might attack Gary again. And before they could, though, some music hit that I have not heard in
a long time.
like 2 years. And it was the return of Lex Lee, Kevin Kaufman, a.k.a. the Jungle Kings, a team that feuded with Matt and Joey Lynch in the early days of SHW, one of the hottest feuds in all of the Southeast and all of the tag teams all over the place. It was the Jungle Kings coming to the aid of Gary Lamb, and they said, just give us a match. We just want a match with these guys right now. And I thought they got quite a great crowd reaction.
Yeah.
Because in those 2 years, there have been a lot of newer fans come into SHW and that have started coming to the shows. And it just showed me that, hey, I guess these guys are going back and watching the older shows and catching up on the, you know what I mean?
I didn't know anything about the feud before I came. I went back to IWTV and watched the whole thing through. I wanted to see what was going on. And yeah, Jungle Kings came out. It was like, wow, here we go. We're about to restart this feud.
It was
so,
awesome. Yeah, it was awesome.
It was.
Yeah, so I was shocked, and even starting to call the match. I think for the first few minutes of the match, I kept having to pause and be like, I'm still stunned that what I'm seeing right here. So it was crazy.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was my first chance to see them live and in person, and I remember seeing some of those wars again, like you, Diana, going back on IWTV. They were legendary matches. So. And they picked up right where they left off, which is what was crazy. So incredible job from the Jungle Kings. And wow.
And then All-Star Special.
And then, yes.
Well, so the Lynch brothers resorted to using a chair. The referee didn't see it. Matt and Joey end up winning the match. Before they could leave to head backstage, we see a video playing on the big screen, and it's our pals, Will Huckabee and Hold My Beer Hansen, a.k.a. All-Star Special, calling out.
Hold My Beer Hansen.
A
He
slim,
must be
yeah.
really hanging on to those naughty lights. Right.
He don't want the night.
Doing well.
Yeah, not the full blown natty. He wants the natty light. So
Right.
yeah, I guess so. You're right. He is trimming up, looking good, getting some bulk on him. Like his neck's looking big.
Yeah.
He's just looking good, man. And Hanson too, trimming down and looking good. So
Right.
they're coming to play, and or
Mhm.
they're not coming to play. Wait, you know what I mean?
It could go either way.
Yeah,
I
it
get
could go either way, but you know what I meant. They're
They're
ready to.
coming. They're taking. They're coming to claim their #1 contendership. Would you say?
Mhm.
Now it hadn't been phrased that
Hasn't
way,
been said.
but it could kind of go that way. I think. I mean, I think they've earned a good one-on-one shot because
Yeah.
Mhm.
they had that shot. Was it last month or 2 months ago? No, it was last
Mhm.
month, and then it ended up becoming a three-way tag match. And
Right.
Right. Which was bogus, but
I don't
anyway.
know. So they called out Matt and Joey Lynch. You know, Matt and Joey didn't officially answer right then and there, but I have a feeling SHW management will look into that and we'll see if that gets approved moving forward to the next show because I would love to see that matchup All-Star Special
Oh
against
yeah.
Matt and Joey. So
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
should be good. After that, we had another in-ring promo on the microphone, and this time it was Brooklyn Creed. And she pulled back the curtain quite a bit and
Mhm.
talked about kind of what made who we used to know as Logan Creed kind of evolve or even devolve, if you want to put it that way, into the Heathen Cruel. And, you know, she was naming names, she was naming old promotions, she was naming all kinds of old stuff that was like, wow, she's really breaking the fourth wall here a little bit.
Mhm.
And
Well, she was letting you know who was giving him the shots that apparently Southern Honor wasn't giving him.
that's what she made it sound like. So a lot of this focus has been on Dylan specifically.
Yeah.
And I mean, she had a lot of things to say. Some of them negative towards Dylan. All of a sudden, Dylan pops up on the big screen,
Right.
has some things to say back to her, and because she called Dylan out, she wants control of the booking of SHW. This is so surreal, right? So
It is.
Right.
she
Me.
wants control of the booking of SHW, and she wants Dylan to fight Cruel for that position. And Dylan came up on the screen and seemingly accepted that match. And not just any match, a chain match. By the way,
Chain.
and I just want to put this out there. I saw in one of the reviews, because there was a couple of reviews that got put out about this show. That's how good it was. It got 2 reviews.
2 reviews.
Both
Mhm.
of them were very positive reviews. However, one of the reviews called it a dog collar match, said that there was a dog collar challenge. That wasn't what the
Oh.
challenge was. It was a chain match.
Mhm.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm not quite certain what that entails, other than you're allowed to use a chain. I guess any way you want to use it. But it was not a dog collar match. So if you read that review, let me just clear
And
that up.
it might seem like semantics, but a dog collar match, the collar is attached around the neck. Usually,
Right.
collar matches, they're attached around the wrist.
Yeah.
So that's the
Well, so,
difference, and it's
in
a
a chain
significant
match,
difference.
I don't even know if that means they're connected. I don't know if it just means both guys get to use a chain to
It
use them to
could
whip
be, and
Right.
or
as
choke.
we've seen, who knows? Because since this
Is
is
there
for
one chain? Do they bring their own chains? Are there more than? Are there a bunch of chains just thrown in? Who knows?
like a
Are
ladder
the
match, I don't
ropes
know.
wrapped in chains? We don't know.
Yeah.
Boy. Oof.
Man, y'all got to come out and see this one.
It's just
I'm
it's going to
already
be
excited,
interesting.
wondering.
Yeah, between that and if All Star faces the Lynch Bros, like it's already shaping up to be
Okay.
a good show. So, well, I should mention, by the way, that Sunny
Mhm.
Days did make an appearance
Yes, he did.
and snuck up
Did.
behind Brooklyn, and I don't know if Brooklyn was expecting that, but it didn't end too well. She caught a Sunny driver for her troubles, and
Mhm.
it looked rough. So you
It
know
didn't
now.
She was still screaming at the referee as whether they were going to help her out of the ring or not. They were not doing what she thought they should be doing. So she was still pitching a fit all the way out. So she's going to be mad.
Well,
She's
think
going to be
about
hot.
how that
Yeah.
could change significantly if Cruel wins this match. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm very concerned about what could happen in this
Yeah.
match. Extremely concerned.
Well, you mentioned it too, like that night on commentary. Like, if she's in charge, because I figured like it's Cruel is in the match, But my take on it is, would Cruel be the one that would be in charge and be booking, or would Brooklyn? Because she
I
seems to
don't
be the one
think
calling
so.
the shots.
We should all have our head on a swivel if she is in charge.
That's what
Mhm.
GB said. He said, "What does that mean for us? I mean, what does that mean for
Right.
anybody that works there?" So
Right.
I don't know. So that's why I told GB. I was like, I guess we should start being nice, start saying nice things. So
Hello.
I don't think it would matter with Brooklyn. Nice or not, she's going to do what she wants to do, and she made that clear. She's
Yeah.
going to do what she wants to do. So
That's true
Absolutely.
too.
Well, after that, we had the #1 contenders match for the SHW title. It was supposed to be the Priest of Punishment, Judas, but he couldn't be there due to injury. We wish him well. Hope he heals up, gets back soon. But taking his place was none other than Cyrus, the Destroyer, taking on the Savior, David Ali. Poor David went from one monster to another. And I don't know. I feel like some people might have considered this kind of a shocker, maybe on paper. But when you look at it side by side, you see him in person, it's like, well, Cyrus definitely has the upper hand here. But I think because David was the longest reigning SHW champ, because he was in the running for top wrestler of the year, although surprisingly he didn't get it, I think a lot of people would have expected him to win this match because he would have gone to any depths, done whatever it took to win this match. But I'll be honest, I was a little shocked that Cyrus pulled it
honestly,
off.
David, he took on Sunny Days, a monster
Mm-hmm.
of Southern Honor, and defeated, or at least put him down. He
Mhm.
took on Cruel before he was Cruel.
Yeah.
And even Logan Creed was a monster
Yeah.
before the whole mask and everything, before the fire, and he put him down. I mean, in front of his kid, he was ruthless. The only thing I could see with David that could have been a downfall in this match was that he's seemingly kind of changing, and he's not as ruthless and destructive as he was before. He's kind of taken a turn. So he still gave Cyrus a fight. I mean, I've never seen anybody jump on Cyrus's back. And I mean, come on.
It was a great match. Yeah.
It was awesome. He definitely held his own. He showed again why he was the longest reigning Southern Honor champion.
Yeah.
Totally. I can't take anything away from David. I mean, he did. I feel it, and I know you guys probably noticed it. I did say hallelujah.
I was gonna say you should have heard GB when that happened. We were like, what?
And you guys went crazy about me and the Queen.
I know
Well,
that
that's because that was ongoing. Diana's thing was just
yeah.
once.
I just did once, and it was like, oh, I really didn't want to, but at the same time, I do love David. I've loved him before he even turned crazy and went sour in Old Savior, but I really thought he needed some help in this one. So I mean, wow, I said it. I wanted to help him. That's my bias. I'm not going to say anything else, but I did. I gave in. I said it. The fans embraced it. They sang his praises. It helped. I really think it helped. I mean, he put on a good show. He did his thing. He really did.
Yeah, you know, you get me in these. I used to, when I was in the corporate world, I had some friends, and we would actually have what we would call song lyric day, where we'd just be in the middle of a conversation and someone would say something and it would spark a song lyric. And so immediately when you said that, I thought of Dreamgirls when Jennifer Hudson is singing "I Am Changing." Because that is what is happening with David Ali. You ran through this incredible list of people. You know, we could add Austin Towers to that name, you know, out to that list. We could add so many others to that list that he defeated, which we all thought there's no way he's going to beat them.
Right.
So to me, you know, as tough as Cyrus is, I'm like, okay, David Ali for 301 days showed us he could beat almost anybody.
Right.
But you're right. The question is, could he only do it when he was employing that sadistic side?
Right.
He needed that against Cyrus. He needed everything possible for someone who's never been pinned, never been submitted in SHW. And to me, I just think, who's the most upset out of this and who got the most raw deal? Was it David Ali or was it Judas? Judas was supposed to be in that match. And at this point, had Judas won, he'd be the #1 contender. Now, the guy who was available, who wasn't even supposed to be there that night, has found himself as the #1 contender for the SHW championship. That is crazy.
But there's something there still. There's something between Cyrus and Judas still. Did
There
he not answer
is.
the call when Judas said there's no man has ever pinned me? Judas was the one to show face on that. What's happening? What's going to happen next show? Will
It's gonna
Judas
be
show
very
his face
interesting.
and I don't know.
What
don't
could
know.
possibly happen
What
and is that could you imagine Cyrus winning the title and then us having a title match between Cyrus and Judas? Because
oh,
I mean, how crazy would that be?
Nuts.
But that's just booking down the road. I don't know. You're right. We know Cyrus is going to have a title shot at the next show. Will Judas show up? We don't know. It's been one of those things like two ships passing in the night. I think GB has said before, where like
it really has.
we were supposed to have seen this match. I don't even know how many months ago, but for
Many
whatever
times.
reason, yeah, for whatever reason, every month one or the other was either injured or had something come up. They couldn't make it. Whatever the case may be. But one of these days, we're going to see Judas and Cyrus face off, and it's going to be
It's going to happen. And when
nuts.
it does, the walls are not going to hold it. I'm telling you.
Mhm.
Going to be wild. Well, speaking of wild and nuts and crazy, this next match, our poor pal Nathan Mowry, the Killbilly. Although if you saw his face after the match, I don't know that he felt that bad about it because he was grinning
was
and blowing
loving
kisses to the camera. But it was Nathan Mowry in a match against Tank, the Bloodbath Behemoth. And I kind of sensed ahead of time, I think we talked about it on the pre-show, it was promoted as just a match between Tank and Nathan Mowry. And I thought, remember back in the day when Raven and WCW, any match he was in was automatically Raven's rules, which basically meant
Right.
no DQ. I had a feeling, and we had a feeling, that in a Tank match, certainly it's going to get a little crazy. So is it going to be a regular match? I don't know. Well, Reverend Dan Wilson comes out at the beginning and says, Nathan, you got your wish. You made a deal with the devil. You get your match, but it's going to be a death match. And there it was. And Nathan, seemingly prepared, shows up to the ring. We see a grocery cart full of all kinds of weapons and other plunder that just showed up. I don't know. Diana, maybe you can help us. Did Zach bring that out? Like, where did that even come from? All of a sudden, we looked over, and there's a grocery cart.
I have no idea where it came from. I want to say Piper. Piper. It came from Piper's Pit
That makes
because
sense.
it was not there, and then all of a sudden it was. And you know, Piper is crazy.
They
He is
always
one of
bring.
my
They always bring. They always bring
ever.
a. They always bring a
the
leg.
prosthetic foot. Yeah,
Yeah.
the leg. And it always has a glow shoe on it. Like, and it's like, what? Either way, shouts out to Piper and Piper's Pit. But oh my God, this match. There was no way I was sitting ringside. I had to move. There was no way that I was going to sit there and blood was everywhere. I mean, there was skewers. Look, when I got back to work on Monday, it hadn't even been a full couple of days. Monday, the first thing my boss says to me, for those of you who don't know, my shoot job is I work in a law firm, okay? My lawyer boss says, you guys set somebody on fire this weekend?
What did I text you?
We didn't. Tank did.
We were
Crazy
in our
man.
morning meeting, and that's the first thing. You guys set somebody on fire this weekend, and I was like, "You saw?" He was like, "Yeah, where were you?" And I was like, "Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. I had to get away, man."
What did I message you? So we have our little group chat, and it was either Saturday or Sunday. What did I message you? The same thing. My boss from my job, and we hadn't even posted pictures yet. He just heard from somebody who happened to be there.
Right.
And like, he's messaging me going, "Hey, did you guys set somebody on fire?" The same thing. I was like, "Wait, how did you even hear about
the
this?"
review? The review hasn't been out yet. The video is still not out yet. The pictures have not been out yet. But yeah, everybody knows about this match with Nathan Mowry, the Killbilly, the crazy Killbilly and Tank. The skewers, they were asking about skewers. I had to show pictures to my coworkers who are in the law firm of skewers hanging out of Nathan's head. yeah, this kind of stuff just doesn't stay quiet. It's going to spread. So if you haven't seen it, IWTV, and
Yeah.
shame on you for missing it, because Nathan gave his all.
Literally.
Literally.
Yeah,
Holy crap.
we've never called a death match before. We've called some extreme things, but never a death match.
Oh my God.
And for it to be Nathan's first match in SHW, good grief.
He was a bloody man.
He was, but here's the other thing. For some of us, it's our dream to work in a national promotion. For other
Yeah.
people, it's their dream to go to the Super Bowl and to say, I'm going to Disney World. This
The Olympics.
guy's right. The Olympics, the NBA championships.
Yeah.
I want to take a picture at the Walk of Fame in Hollywood. This
Yeah.
guy, his dream is to have a death match against Tank. That was his dream. So
I
while
mean-
we're going, oh my gosh, poor guy, he's like, I've just gone to heaven and back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me question his mind, his sanity.
Perhaps it's why he's the kindest of all punks.
Oh my
I
God.
don't know.
As my dad growing up, as my dad would say about me, that boy ain't right.
That boy ain't right. That boy is not right.
Oh goodness! But I tell you what, we won't go into too much detail about the match. You just have to go to IWTV and check it out because
You
a lot
to.
happened, and
In
obviously,
a short period of time.
yeah,
We
and
have to keep this like, what is it, PG or PG-13 at the most. I'm not talking about it.
but
No,
and obviously we already touched on it. But yeah, somebody got lit on fire, and yeah, it was Nathan. So again, you'll just have to wait and see it on IWTV. But it was one of the most insane, and we've seen a lot of insane things at SHW. This is right up there with one of the craziest I think I've seen. So,
Yes.
anyways, following that, we had took a brief intermission for them to set up the cage in order for
And
us
to
to have
breathe.
and to kind of catch our breath because of what we just witnessed. But I think
Clean the blood off the floor, for God's sakes.
that too.
And purify the place of burning flesh.
Okay.
Oh my
Jesus.
gosh, the
Oh,
smell! The smell!
I've never smelled that before in my life.
Oh,
oh,
that
it
was
was
nuts.
awful.
But yes, so then the cage match for the SHW title, Owen Knight defending against Joe Black. It was another classic, as we knew it would be. These guys,
Yeah.
anytime they've faced each other before, it's been a clinic. And this time it was inside a steel cage, and it was no different. It was amazing. But our boy Owen Knight, man, pulled it off.
Still. And still.
And still, hashtag and still. And not only that, but with all the craziness and the dastardly things Joe Black has done over the last few months since we've seen this attitude change, after the match, and you kind of touched on it, GB, during the match, that it's almost like even though Owen has the title, he won the title back at the anniversary show back in October, it's almost like there's still a lack of respect there. You know,
Yeah.
I know the fans respect him, the fans love him, but it's almost like the critics and certain wrestlers backstage still just that lack of respect. Like, he's got the title, one of the biggest titles in independent wrestling. What more can he do to earn your respect? Well, after that match, Joe Black takes those beads, those signature beads that he has, that he considers that are like a power to him, you know, and like that were handed down to him out of respect from guys that he looked up to. He took those, gave them, placed them around Owen's neck, showing the
ultimate sign. Yeah.
Ultimate sign of respect. Absolutely. And just letting Owen know, like, hey, you beat me. You've earned this. Here you go. And now it's your time. Like, and that was a moment. That was a moment.
Kind of like actually Joe closing that chapter in his career for going after Owen in his title. And I mean, maybe he'll want it. I don't know. But it just seemed like if Joe were to attack or come against Owen right now after giving the beads, that it would be like almost, you know, sacrilegious, for lack of better words. I mean, against what those beads mean. I mean, I follow Joe on social media. I'm kind of keeping up with what's going on, and I don't fully understand the meaning behind the beads. I mean, but I've seen him pass them to other people in that he's trained. Okay, so for him to give the beads of that size over to Owen was a very big deal. Very big deal. And I mean, it was emotional. just to see that passing. So, you know, that's just a big deal to me. It's a big deal to Joe.
And it's a big deal to Owen. And I
Yeah.
think what's so interesting about all of this, and I mentioned this on commentary, is it's about time that the industry puts respect on the name of the SHW champion, Owen Knight.
Yes. Yes.
If we think about it and we go through the lists of title defenses and the like, here's a stat nobody's talking about. There's only one man who's held the championship that has defended the title more than Owen Knight at this point, and that's David Ali.
David Ali.
So that speaks volumes already. And the thing is, Owen has held the title right now in less time than David Knight. In less than half the time that David Ali has held the title, Owen Knight has had 6 title defenses compared to Ali's 9.
Right.
So we are seeing
and
him
beat Wrestler of the Year how many times?
right. So to me, I'm sitting here going, okay, there's usually at some point, and we think about it, Owen wasn't even considered in the nominations for
Right.
Wrestler of the Year. So, to me, I'm thinking all of these things have to pile up. How many more people does he have to beat? How many more places does he have to go
Who
represent?
does he have to beat?
Who else does? I mean, if you've beaten the 2-time reigning Wrestler of the Year multiple times in a 30-minute classic, now in a steel cage,
Mhm.
put some respect on the name of Owen Knight. This is not a flash in the pan. This is not
Right.
just a feel-good moment. He won the title in the War Chamber, beating 5 of SHW's finest. He
That's
has
right.
done everything he's been asked to do and then some, and he has given us the best matches of his career. It is time for us to do what Joe Black has done and acknowledge him as the SHW champion and the best in the game right now, because he
Okay.
is.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Whew. And if that wasn't enough, to close out the show, the new number 1 contender makes his way out to the stage. I wasn't sure what was about to happen. I didn't know if he was about to get in the ring, if he was going to attack. I wasn't sure. But instead, he just kind of grinned, kind of clapped a little bit, showing his respect as well. And I guess just letting no one know that, hey, I'm next. So get ready.
Almost like he was in the line and he grabbed his buffet plate and he was about to take on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the feeling I got. That he
Mhm.
was setting his plate ready for his meal. Because, I mean, obviously, anybody he faces is like a meal for Cyrus the Destroyer. So we're going to see what our SHW champion has for this big guy.
Yeah.
And let's see if he can defend his title against this giant.
Mhm.
It's going to be
My
good.
cards are on Owen. I still got Owen on this one.
All right. All right. It's going to be good. Like we said, SHW 38 is already stacking up. We'll have I'm sure the match card in the next week or two will start being announced. But we do know that we're going to have Cyrus, the number 1 contender, taking on Owen Knight. It's Owen Knight, man. It's never an easy day as the champ. It's like back to back. You got another big
Everybody
title
wants
defense.
you. When you're in the top spot, everybody wants you. So it's
That's
going to
right.
come fair.
And we also mentioned we may see All-Star Special on the Lynch Brothers. We're not sure if that's going to be confirmed or not, but the challenge is there. Will we see Gunner and Tank finally face each other one-on-one? We don't know, but we will find out all these answers in the coming weeks. But what an amazing night SHW 37 was. And real quick, a quick reminder, and we'll remind you of this a couple times leading up to the next show, but it will be the second Friday in April 8th.
Yes.
Mhm.
April
April
8th
8th.
will be SHW 38. So put that out on your calendar as WrestleMania. You see GB's shirt there. WrestleMania weekend is the weekend before. So we were bumping back to April 8th. But just a quick reminder there. But with all of that said,
I've got
GB,
another
real quick.
reminder.
Yeah.
There's a brand new T-shirt drop
Oh,
Come on.
for this crew
Here it
right
is.
here.
Show it. Where's it at? Where's it
It's
at?
massive. It's
Okay.
massive.
It's on
If
your
you've been-
screen right
With
there.
the twos.
Boom. Super excited about our brand
cool is
new
this?
shirt. This is one of the coolest shirts, and I'll just be the one to say it. I think it's the coolest shirt in SHW right now.
Okay.
I really do. So check out the brand new shirt from V3,
That's
the official
right.
voices in animated form. Pretty
Man.
exciting. It's available now. ProWrestlingTees.com/SHW pod. And Brandon, please shout out the amazing designer of this
Yes.
t-shirt.
Oh yeah, Joanna Davidovich. Joanna is awesome. She's does all kinds of cartoons and children's books and does the art for all that kind of stuff. You can follow her at Joe the Zet. I'll put her stuff up here, but you can find her Instagram and Twitter and everything. She posts all kinds of stuff. But yeah, great artwork that she put together for us. Very, very cool. So yeah, like you said, GB, ProWrestlingTees.com/SHW pod. If you get it now, if you go ahead and order it right now, I can't guarantee this, but hopefully you might have it.
If it gets to Dublin before it gets to anybody else, I will be shocked. But mine's coming in the mail.
Well, I'm just saying, hopefully if you order now, you might be able to get it prior to SHW 38, and you can wear it to the show. So,
and if you wear it to the show, we'll take a picture with you. How about
Please come. I want to see it on you, man. That is it's the coolest thing going.
It is.
Honestly,
it really is.
We'll take a picture of you regardless, but it'd be a lot cooler if you're wearing the shirt. Just saying. But with all that said, as you heard me say it at the top of the show, that we also have a special guest this week. So without any further ado, let's pitch it to the interview we had with the one and only Jimmy Wang Yang. Check it out. What is going on, everybody? We are here with a very special guest this week. It's the one and only Jimmy Wang Yang, the legendary, I should say, Jimmy Wang Yang. Of course, you remember he joined us at the Rumblejack last August. He and his daughter, Jazzy Yang, was there as well. But yeah, you're here. You got some stuff to promote, some stuff to talk about. What's going on with you, buddy?
Howdy, Southern Honor. This is our Wrestling Southern Honor podcast. Finally here. You know, I don't know about legendary, but you know, like I'm your boy and Jimmy Yang's here, you know, so.
Well, awesome, man. So you were telling us off air that you got some stuff coming up, WrestleMania weekend, WrestleCon. What's going on with that? You and Jazzy as well, right?
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on. Actually, this weekend we'll be in Ohio with Big Time Wrestling. And then at the end of the month, we'll be at WrestleCon. Me, Jazzy Yang, and Prince of Punk, the Reject, Shannon Moore, with the Hyber School Wrestling. We're going to be doing autographs, meeting everybody, and we're doing a special combo, the 3-count, Young Dragon, the Redneck Reject combo picture. You know, because me and Shannon are in the same place, and we have so much history together, from WCW to HWA to WWE to living together, fighting together, teaming together. So we're doing a special combo picture appearance at WrestleCon.
Very cool. Very cool.
And you guys
Extremely cool.
You guys had Shannon at Southern Honor too, right?
We did. It's been a while, but yeah, he was there for a couple shows back in the early days of SHW. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was before me, right?
That was before what?
That was for me.
Oh yeah, that was the pre-Diana days.
Pre-Diana. That was the dark days of Southern
I
Honor.
know. That sounds
The
cool.
dark
I know what? Like, that's the only reason I come there, really.
Okay.
You and a ton of other people.
Mhm.
There's a ton of others like that.
I mean, I don't
goodness.
know. I wish they would buy my merch and show me the love.
Hilarious.
I'll
Come
buy
on.
you more than that.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So it's
Moving on.
funny. You just mentioned 3-count, and that just took me back to the days of WCW. And man, tell me about that particular time frame in WCW and all that you guys did with 3-count, because that was really a shining moment in a really weird time for WCW.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and with me, you know, like I'm the youngest ever to sign to WCW. I signed at 18. I signed my first contract in June of 99. I turned 18 in May of 1999. So it's a weird story how that happened. But anyways, like, so I was the biggest fan ever from 16, from growing up. And the next thing you know, I'm 18. I'm in the locker room with Ric Flair, Sting, the Steiner Brothers, Lex Luger, Bam Bam Bigelow TV. So really that whole time I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, I do not belong here.
Boy out, yeah.
Last year, I was dressing up as Sting and stalking DDP's house, and now I'm sitting in the locker room with these dudes. Like, that was crazy.
Wow.
But then getting to perform at WCW, but like, you know, I grew up in Cobb County, Georgia, so I grew up on WCW, so I love
Yeah.
WCW. But like when I got there, it was just crazy world, you know. First being that 18-year-old kid in the locker room, like, oh my God, there's Ric Flair and Arn Anderson. But then seeing all the craziness in the back was crazy, you know. But then luckily we had the matches with 3 count, and it was just a bunch of young guys like, oh, let's just rip it up, baby. You know.
Yeah.
And those matches are crazy. And like, to me, you know, I see this generation now with hybrid wrestling or whatever, like the young guys that just go balls to the wall, is that I think we're responsible for that trend, you know, like Young Dragons 3 count and then into the X division. I'm like, yeah, I was part of both of that, you know, like,
Right.
Yeah.
now you watch the Young Bucks and they look like 3 count in Young Dragon matches instead of, you know, people say Rey Mysterio and Chris Jericho and Dean Malenko, but their wrestling style was not car crash, ladders, just not try to kill yourself on TV, but like basically performing high risk stunts, younger talent to push instead of like the older guys, I guess.
Yeah. So real quick, now you and I have a friend in common. I'll give Drew a shout out here. But and you kind of touched on this, which is why I'm going to ask you. And if you're allowed to talk about it, feel free. But you mentioned stalking DDP when you were younger, and Drew's kind of told me some of those stories. Can you kind of elaborate on that? Like, what exactly were you doing with DDP back in the day?
Yeah, so me and my friends were obsessed with wrestling, and then, you know, like I went to ECW at the Cobb County Civic Center like 5 hours before, just to sit up in the back to just a glimpse at the wrestlers walk by. We went to all the shows. Anyways, he's doing our stalking, whatever you call it, searching or whatever, searching for all the wrestlers and all this stuff. And then we found out that DDP lived in Mableton. Like I grew up in Austell, so it's right next door, right? Like, and then we had, I went to South Cobb High School, so those kids went to combine in high school and say, oh yeah, we have a wrestler that lives in our neighborhood. I was like, what? You know, and then found out it was DDP and Eric Bischoff. But we didn't know which house it was. So it's like, oh man, how are we going to find these dudes? Halloween was coming up. So like, I said, oh, we got it. This is the greatest plan ever. You know, we're going to all dress up as wrestlers. And I know Dinah will love this. I dressed up as Sting, you know, so that was my time. So we went to every single house until we found them. And then we, like Paige's house, we knocked on the door and like, I'm dressed up as Sting and friends, DDP, Ric Flair, all that stuff. And Kimberly opens the door, like totally mark out moment. Like, we're like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. You're so good. And then she's like, oh, you guys are so cute. I got to go get Paige for this. You know, he's like, Paige is here, you know. And then she went upstairs and got Paige, and Paige came down and came to the doors like, and we're just like, oh my God, it's DDP. Oh my God, this is unbelievable. And I always give him credit. So he's a lot cooler than I would have been toward fans. I've been cool, but like he said, oh, you guys come inside. Let's take pictures. And we've taken all these pictures. And then of course we're marking out. Said, so how do you do the diamond cutter? You know, like, he's like, oh, okay, let me show you. And he got my friend in the diamond cutter, and my friend tried to get out, and all of a sudden DDP drops him on the floor. And we're like, we popped huge, like, oh my God, you know, oh my God. Oh, it was so awesome. And then, there's a big story, a story with him, because we were leaving. Then Eric Bischoff's driving down the street and says, hey, DDP sucks, NWO rules. It's like, oh my God, it's Victor Bischoff up there. And I left my book bag in Paige's house, and we run into Bischoff. I said, oh, I gotta go back. I knock on the door and said, hey, Paige, I forgot my book bag. I said, oh, come on in, come on in, get your book bag. And I was like, hey, DDP, I know how to wrestle. I wrestled in high school, and we did backyard wrestling. And he's like, hey, kid, yeah, when you get old enough, come back, and I'll take you to the power plant. And I was like,
Wow.
But that really changed in my mind that I could actually try out for WCW. So it's like life changing. I know he doesn't remember what he said to me or anything like that. He's probably just joking, but that was a real life changing sentence from DDP to me saying,
Yeah.
Wow.
get old enough. And then that's when I started really hitting the gym and did all my research about wrestling and got into wrestling. And
Did you actually go through the power?
What a cool.
Did you actually go through the power plant?
so what happened, we started wrestling soon after that with the independence in Georgia called Good Old Days Wrestling.
Okay.
So Roswell Road, it was a bar / wrestling. Really, I wasn't supposed to be there because it's 21 up bar. I started at 17, and and then Chris Canyon. There's a story about they wanted to do the first reality show back in '99, like Tough Enough, and they were looking for younger guys to do it. And I was based in Atlanta, and Canyon came and saw us and liked us, and they signed us. And then me and my partner Ryan Forrester, and all these cruiserweights, or a few cruiserweights, had to report to the power plant. So I went to the power plant for like 4 months, and they beat my ass. So, they turned me into a man real quick, But here's an inside scoop for you guys. Like that tryout match I had in front of Canyon, it was me, my partner Ryan Forrester, versus AJ Styles and Jason Cross. So me and AJ,
Wow.
and we all got offered contracts, and then AJ turned it down because they were offering us little money just to be trained to be wrestlers. Me and my partner took it, and then Jason Cross turned it down. So that was kind of a little story about me and AJ getting started together, and we got scouted together and both got offered WCW contracts.
Wow.
In '99, and he turned it down, and I went, and Ryan went, and that's when a lot of other cruiserweights were introduced to WCW. Shannon Moore, Shane Helms, Jamie Noble, Shark Boy, Joey Mercury, Christian York, all these guys. So.
I don't have my mask by me. It's over there, but I'm a big Shark Boy Mark because I've got the Shark Boy mask. Anyways.
Show yeah, baby, show yeah.
Joe, yeah. It's all the way over there. Anyways.
I'll see him this weekend in Ohio.
Tell him I said what's up. He doesn't know me, but that's all right.
I'll get him.
He can watch the podcast.
I'll get him on this podcast.
There you
Yeah,
go.
bring him on.
Wow.
Then we'll eventually work out Sting. If we get Sting on, you might as well just hang it up. I'm done.
He said he could maybe get Shark Boy. That Sting's a stretch.
I know that's.
I'm just saying. I mean, if I put on the mask and do the
Yeah.
who knows? I mean, we know people. We do what we can.
Yeah,
True.
yeah.
I mean, I would probably pass out.
Wow.
I'm
So
not making you pass out.
Come on, Jimmy. It's
Me?
so hot already.
Woo.
Come on, he's landed on thick, guys. I don't know what to do.
Yeesh.
Oh, yeah, but Brandon, like Drew told you how good I was at baseball, right? Like he told you.
No.
Yeah, how I used to hit the
All
home
he
run.
does is talk trash.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what to believe when he tells me stories.
Yeah. So ask him. Like, Jimmy was good at baseball, right? Like,
No,
yeah.
he has told me. He said you were the stud back in high school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Got that, Diana? Stud.
The stud back in high school. Okay. Okay.
That's a long time ago.
Wow.
We need to talk about this.
We're going off the rails.
Oh boy.
We're on the
So-
Jimmy Wang train, okay, guys. And it's
We're on the Jimmy Wang train.
we're oh God, please somebody
This is-
change the
This
subject.
is
GB.
He's
Yeah,
driving, it's like,
leave it to me.
You had
the
something.
broadcast journalist. I am curious
haven't
about
said
this.
a word. Thank you. Jump in.
I am curious about this though, because after having such a lengthy wrestling career, I'm curious to know the moment when your daughter came to you and said, "Hey, Dad, I want to be a wrestler." What was that like?
Yeah, that was kind of crazy, but like her situation is so crazy and different. Like, so, um, what was that? She's 18, 19 now. Like, when she was 15, like, you know, Kaz Hayashi called me from Japan and said, "Hey, Jimmy, can you come to Japan? We want to do a reunion of the Young Dragons." And, you know, that time I was still in wrestling, but I was running a party bus company, you know? So it's like,
Mhm. Yeah.
uh, hey, it sounds like fun, but I got business, you know, whatever. But if I come, can Jazzy come? He said, "Oh yeah, she can come. She can do high spot and match." I'm like, "Oh no, wait, wait, wait.
And
I,
she just come along.
yeah. I said, I just, you know, like, it'd be cool to take my 15-year-old daughter to Japan and let her see that country and everything." And then I told Jazz, "Hey, they said it's okay for you to come, but they want you to be part of the match." And she's like, "What?" You know? So we started doing some quick training, and then we got over there, and then we had a match. It's me and Kaz versus Shannon Moore and Nosawa. And so we was like, "Okay, Jazz, Dad's gonna get hurt in the match, and you gotta take my spot." You know, she's like,
Wow.
"What?" You know, and so I go down, and then I'm like, "I'm Dad and wrestle, whatever, Dad." So I go down, and I know she's about to come in the ring, so like I'm supposed to be selling, but I had to come up.
Yeah.
How's she gonna do the spot? You know, like, oh no.
Yeah.
And she went in there and just like boom, boom, and hit the big head scissors on Shannon, and the crowd goes crazy. And I'm over there like, "Oh, yeah, baby, go! Oh, I gotta go back down to selling. Selling, you know, like, but I'm like, it's just like so. I'm telling you, like, if you got kids and you see them play sports, she's played sports all her life, and watch her do that. But when you see your baby girl throwing elbows and hitting head scissors in Tokyo, Japan, it's like a different kind of excitement. It's like, you know, like, oh my God, you know. But anyways, and afterwards, like in Japan wrestling, you know, there's a lot of media, a lot of magazines, a lot of cameras, crew, and all this kind of stuff. And we had to walk to the arena that night, walk to the arena and walk back from the arena to the hotel. By the time we got to the hotel, it's like paparazzi, like it's crazy. She's walking tall and signing autographs. So it's like, oh yeah, taking pictures. I'm like, what the?
She was made for this.
But by the time she
Yeah.
got to the hotel, like in the room, she's like, "Oh, Dad, this is what I want to do." And I was like,
Wow.
you know,
She was 15 at the time.
15. Yeah. By the time we got home, I said, I guess this, you know, if this, you know. But then people were like, "Oh, you shouldn't let your daughter in the business because there's so many craziness that goes on." I said, there is craziness in professional wrestling, but this also was the greatest time of my life. I got to travel the world, you know, on somebody else's dollar. I got paid for it. Like, I got to be all 50 states, been around the world 20 times. It's like, why would I not want that for my kids? Like,
Right.
you know, like
That's awesome.
the other stuff, you know, the whatever bad stuff that happens wrestling, but that happens at McDonald's, you know. It's like,
This
every-
is true.
right? The like,
It happens in everything. It does.
Mhm.
why not? So then I went as that's what she told me after that match in Japan. She's like, "Yeah, Dad, this is what I want to do, whatever." And then we went back training. But she had school and sports and all that stuff. And then the pandemic hit, and then only thing we could do is go to the wrestling ring. So we trained for like a year with during the pandemic, and she got like really, really good. So like,
Wow.
now we're full force.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. So where y'all, I mean, I know you're hitting the indie scene kind of all over the place, but are you focused more in the Southeast? Are you kind of all over the country, or where you guys been performing?
A lot of places actually. So like our first one was Tokyo, then Cincinnati, a few shots in Cincinnati. We moved down here. We was doing Lariato Pro Wrestling, Southern Honor, New South. We just started with Deep South last weekend. We were on
I saw yours with KLT.
KLT. We went to Wildcat Pro Wrestling in Louisiana with Luke. Been to Tennessee, and then we got Ohio this weekend, Texas at the end of the month. Then we got to go to New York on the first week of April, and we got some other surprises that's going to happen soon. So I can't really say anything yet, but we got a lot of stuff going on.
So from somebody who's been in the business a long time and you've kind of been there, seen it all, from your perspective, how is she holding up and how is she handling this whole deal so far?
And that question, because it's easy or not easy, but it's easier to teach wrestling moves, but there's a lot of other stuff that goes along with it, so that's so can she handle this? Can she handle this and handle the pressure and all this kind of stuff? Well, that's what's really amazing me. She did the NWA Empowered last year, and the talent that was there.
Yeah.
And she walked in, it's held her own with every girl that was there, and so I'm yeah, she can do it. Even my last run as a producer in WWE a few months ago, I'm going up there looking at all the girls. It's man, I think Jazzy can. Oh, I know Jazzy can hang with Sasha Banks. I know she can handle with Charlotte and Becky. I'm I know I might be biased because I'm dad,
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm telling you, I was if she debuted on SmackDown next week, she could hold her own against these girls up here. She held her own against all the girls that Empower, and all that stuff you're talking about. That's more impressive than a head scissors or a wrestling move or anything like that. It's all the other stuff that people don't see.
Yeah,
that's important in wrestling. And even during the match, it's not just about the moves. It's about everything involved in that whole moment. She's really good at everything.
Yeah, psychology and how you interact with the fans and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
keeping the fans engaged, that's huge.
Yeah, let me ask this, because on that train, how difficult was it to prepare her for that? And I ask that because during the, Monday Night Wars, WCW, WWE, ECW, all that type of thing, social media hadn't jumped off yet.
Right.
It was just that battle on cable. Now wrestlers are more accessible than ever before. There are more independent promotions right now than ever before. There's more access available. How did you work to get her prepared for that? Because again, it's a totally different ball game, and she's still, she's under 20 at this point. So what was that like for you?
So it's just like a dad, just getting your kid ready for the world, right?
Yeah.
Once she graduates, okay, hopefully she's ready to go out there and just not be scared and just handle all the situations you deal with as an adult, and the same as wrestling. But luckily, I've been in this business 23 years. I've seen it all from the top to the bottom of the barrel, so as dad, I've been preparing her for every situation possible. That's what I've been trying to do, for nothing throws her off. From if she had a meeting with Vince McMahon or whatever, at that level, it's okay, this is how you handle it. You down at the, some hillbilly town in Georgia, something. Yeah, I've done that too. I've done it all. So it's and I haven't forgot about that stuff. So every situation, and try to prepare her as a wrestler, but also as a daughter. Say, okay, if you put in this situation, this is how you handle yourself. So it's luckily that pandemic still going on, and we did a lot of training during that time. So but the thing is, I taught her all that stuff. Hopefully it sticks with her, and I gotta let baby girl go do her thing, and that's kind of the empower thing. It's all this training for every situation. All right, dad has to leave you alone. You gotta go do it yourself. You know, like
Yeah.
the
And that's a
independent-
life lesson, honestly. I mean, I have two daughters about the same age as Jazzy, and it's not so much as you want to protect them from the world, but you want to prepare them, because no matter how much you protect them, it's still going to be nasty out there, and they're going to have to deal with it eventually. So if you prepare them, they know what to do and how to do it. And I think that's the same thing in the wrestling world, and that's pretty awesome. She's
Oh,
going
yeah.
to be able to handle so much just because of what you've done already.
we hope.
Yeah.
Some
She's
boy-
tough,
yeah,
man. I seen her
yeah.
throw you out of the ring. It's,
Yeah,
yeah,
but-
she's good.
Some boys are gonna screw that all up, you know. So like, I'm prepared.
No,
And
she's gonna be fun. She's already seen so much, and she's been around. I mean, wrestling it's a real deal, man. People are crazy in this business, but it's gonna be. She's gonna be great. She'll be fine. Yes.
Yeah, you know, Diana just mentioned. I'm wondering, is there still any bad blood there? Because Jazzy actually eliminated you from the Rumble Jag last year. Is there any heat there still or no?
she's still grounded. She's still. That's why she's not here right now. She's
Oh,
still
we'll
grounded.
have to get her on when she's out of
Yeah.
jail.
Yeah, I do want to touch on something that you touched on it very briefly. That you were just working backstage with WWE up until just recently. What was that gig like working as a producer, agent? What exactly was your title working there?
Producer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what, you know, a lot of people don't know what exactly that entails. What was that like? What all were your responsibilities?
Man, it was horrible. Horrible job. You know, like
Like,
it's
really?
yeah, WWE paid me a lot of money.
Oh, it
That's-
must have been tough.
Travel to, they made me stay in 5-star hotels.
Mm.
There's like, and then
Yeah.
I got to help produce Raw,
Sucks.
SmackDown, and main event. Like, man, it was rough, man. Like,
I'm sorry. I'm so
Tough
sorry.
job.
I'm so
Somebody's
sorry I
gotta do
brought
it.
it up, man. That sucks.
It sucks to be you,
you know,
man.
you can tell I'm being sarcastic.
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
being the WWE or being WWE producers, it's not a bad job. Like, if you can handle the pressure and the intensity of having that job. Like, I'm telling you, like, when I was producing matches, you get on the headset, you know, like you got to communicate from the wrestlers to me to the production truck and to you're talking you and everybody, but you have these earphones in, right? And you got Vince McMahon in this ear, you have Kevin Dunn in this ear, and you have a million things going on at the same time. It's like this. It's like it's intense, boy. Like that 8 minutes, 9 minutes, 10 minutes that you're on the headset. But that's like I haven't got that nervous since I was wrestling, like
Wow.
about to go out. Like, you know, it's like, man, this is like you want you to do this, and it's like, oh, it's go time, baby. You know.
Yeah.
And the craziness of WWE and the live TV and all this kind of stuff. But that's what I like live for, you know. So that's why the nerves and the craziness and like so much pressure on you at that moment. But that's what I live for. And I kind of really enjoyed it, you know, like, but, you know, that's if you can handle the pressure and the intensity of everything that includes that job. But like a lot of people, like, it's not a bad gig. You get paid to travel, get to
Yeah.
help produce Raw and SmackDown, and they keep put me in these 5-star hotels. And like, it's like, this is not right, you know. But,
What am I doing here? Yeah, yeah.
I know. I was like, man, this is, you know, but it's crazy. You know, it's crazy and intense, and you know, but I enjoyed it.
So I have a feeling I know the answer, but do you prefer being in the ring or being backstage producing other guys in the ring?
So now I'm old as dirt, you know. So like, like even with Jazzy, you know, like I'm living through her, and you know, like all the people I've taught, I coach, and all these people, you know. But that's my new highs is seeing others perform well or do well in whatever situation they're in. Like that's my new drug is seeing them do something. Even the talent up there, coaching them and during the day, and then watching them monitor, and just like they're basically like my kid too. Like, come on, hit the spot, you know, whatever. Here, hit your times and cues and stuff. And you know, even one of the matches I produced is other guy mentioned it at the other podcast was Drew McIntyre versus Ricochet, and I called the finish where Ricochet does this moonsault and Drew hits him with the Claymore kick for the finish. I'm sitting there like, come on, hit this. If we hit this, it's gonna be awesome, And then they nailed it. And I'm like at the grill, like, woo, So it's like, so it's like a great high for me, but it's the same kind of high when I watch Jazz, and everybody in that. So it's kind of that's my new enjoyment. It's like I've had my moments in wrestling, and and got that big buzz about a pop or coming out at the Rumble Jack, all that stuff, but it's watching them that gets me excited.
That was freaking awesome, by the way, because
Yeah.
like nobody knew you were there. We didn't even know you were there, and we heard dum da da dum da da dum da da dum da 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 da, and the crowd, like we see the name on the screen, and that was like the biggest pop of the night. I
The
would
crowd went
dare to say.
crazy before the name even popped up, and I was like, "What's going on?
Yeah.
Who's on my list? Who's coming out?" It was pretty fun. How cool is it to travel with your kid? I mean, honestly, not just that she's getting into everything, but how cool is it to spend all that time with her?
Yeah, it's like
Develop.
I love it. This is probably the most fun I've had in wrestling is teaming with her. Like
Wow.
that's like you're a parent, so you understand. But
Yeah.
it's like, but kind of understand, but like I don't, because you seeing your kid do the same thing that you're doing, you know this, so like doing
Right.
the same thing that you're doing, but like I'm like right there, like tag me or I tag you, I'm seeing it this close.
I would be so emotional if it was me. I'd be crying the whole freaking match. I'll try not to cry right now as you're talking about, because I know what you're feeling in it.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
You just get so proud of them, and that's amazing. I'm
Yeah,
so
but-
glad you guys can do that.
And seeing her, do so good too. That's what amazes me. Like,
Yeah.
it's my kid, but I lose the kid and see her as a wrestler. I'm like, golly, like she's really with other stuff, not just the moves, is timing and selling and all this other stuff that goes involved in the match. I'm like, did I teach you that? I don't know if I taught you that, but that was awesome, So it's like seriously,
That's
it's
awesome.
the funnest time in my wrestling is getting to team up with my daughter. So Jazzy Yang,
That's great. That's great. That says a lot too. You're a good dad.
So she threw me out of the Rumble Jack.
Right.
So I mean, the younger generation has to try to up the older generation, right? So that was pretty fun. Totally unexpected, it seemed.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun actually.
Crowd loved it.
Yeah. So let me throw this out there. Do you have or does Jazzy have any aspirations to end up perhaps in a national or international promotion at some point?
So me, I'm, my 1/3/4 of my legs out, so like it's, me, I enjoy wrestling, but I'm, 40 years old, so it hurts a lot more nowadays than it used to, so like I got to do all my wrestling and do everything I've done. So I don't, whatever. I'd rather be work behind the scenes, but
He's
her.
like, look, the ice packs are not working anymore, Jimmy, okay?
Yeah. And then, she's done interviews and she says, her goal is to be the next John Cena. So, but it's not just being,
Why not?
a wrestler. First, she
Yeah.
said she wants his paycheck. I don't blame her, but she wants it all, like the wrestling career, the toys, the action figures, the movies, the commercials, all the stuff. She wants to be on the national stage. So, WWE or AEW, that's on her radar,
Awesome.
She just got to keep doing what she's doing, man. She's on the right track, that's for sure. Because I saw NWA Empower, and I mean, even at that point, I mean, that's getting close. That's at a pretty big level right there, and she did great.
Yeah, you see her show enough gear.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's the Yang? Well, who's the master?
Who's the master?
Yeah, good. Good. I think I liked you. Like, oh.
I'm gonna have to go watch it.
Oh man, I've seen that movie, a million
I love
times.
that movie.
And me and Bruce Leroy, we did a tag team match before in LA, and with TMZ. I don't know if y'all know that, but like,
I didn't know that.
And that was super cool. I love that movie, like obsessively love that movie. And
Yes.
she's the Show Yang of wrestling. Who's
Wow.
baddest motherfucker, no
Oh
doubt.
my God, that takes me back. I feel so like a kid right now. That is like
with his teeth.
I love it. You can do the
that
whole
movie and Break In was like the two I would go
Yeah,
to.
break it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're showing our age now,
Yeah, I
Jimmy.
know. Yeah, we got so much. in
Not
common.
age, it's
I didn't-
experience. That's all.
I didn't know Sting. Now you know the Last Dragon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Breaking. Oh man, that's crazy.
What is going on here?
This is like love
Hey,
connection.
and we used to throw cardboard boxes into the grass and try to break dance and spin on our backs. I can do that. I can do that.
Now, I want to see that. I do want to see that.
Oh,
It might take me a second to get my spin down, but I've done it.
Nice.
Cardboard
Oh.
box. Go to roller skating back at Sparkles. Do y'all remember?
Oh my God.
You
How
dance
many times did I bust my knees on roller skates? Yes. Yes.
a break dance and roller skate. Be like, oh.
Totally forget you're on wheels and just do all kind of. Yeah, I'm gonna stop talking.
I'm loving this. This is
I
great.
feel like y'all are gonna like now it's time for
It's a whole nother era of Diana you don't know about, guys. Come on.
Oh man, I love it. Well, Jimmy, I really appreciate you joining us. Before you kind of touched on where you guys are going to be in the near future, but again, mention WrestleCon. Kind of give us the details on WrestleCon again before we let you go.
But
Yes.
really, like, if anybody wants to get in touch with me or Jazzy Yang, you know, everything that Jimmy and Jazzy Yang is facebook.com/Jazzy Wang Yang. Merchandise, appearances, get in touch with me or her, you know, everything's traffic it toward that website, facebook.com/Jazzy Wang Yang. Be in Ohio this weekend. We'll be at WrestleCon. You know, the 3 Count Young Dragons Reject Redneck Jimmy Wang Yang, you know, what is Jimmy Yang and Shannon Moore will be together
That's awesome.
taking pictures all weekend, and then I got a few big surprises that weekend, but y'all have to come and see that one. You know, so,
You would fit so well in Dublin. Did you ever work Dublin with Lariato?
mm.
Okay, well, you would fit perfect. All this red dirt clay we have down here, you would fit so well.
I'll visit.
Sounds like an invitation.
I thought you were talking about Dublin,
It
Ireland.
is.
I was like, oh,
No,
no, no.
Dublin, Georgia,
oh yeah.
South.
Yeah, like,
Yes. I don't think
There
they
you go.
have red clay or Georgia red clay in Dublin, Ireland. That's
yeah, they only have Guinness and they fight.
yeah.
That's all.
Well, the red clay flows with Jack Daniels down here, so and Natty Light.
I like that's a Cincinnati. They used to Cincinnati beer. That'd be Natty.
It's the cheap
I was gonna
stuff.
say, I'm sure Jimmy's fine with it. He's from Cobb County. He's
Yeah.
Georgia
Yeah.
I
boy.
mean, that's what
I
I'm
like
saying.
my
He can
I
fit.
like my malt liquor though from Cobb County, like
There you
Cobra.
go. I've heard the stories. Like I said,
Hey,
we
they
did.
have Schlitz. You remember Schlitz
Yeah. Booms.
with the bull
Booms.
that just busted? Yeah, we have that down here. So
Need some
We can talk about all kinds of booze here once we get off the air here. But hey, thank you very much for joining us, Jimmy Wang Yang, everybody. Jimmy, anything else you want to say to the fans before we let you go? One final word.
I'm Jimmy Wang Yang. I'm your boy. Yeah.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeehaw.
We really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
All right, you're welcome. Thanks for having me, guys.
yes, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. What a fantastic interview, guys, with the legendary, and I know he doesn't like to be called that, but it's only right, Jimmy Wang
He's
Yang.
crazy.
Crazy. What a wealth of knowledge and experience, though. So
Right.
that was a lot of fun. And for the record, don't stalk your favorite wrestler's home.
Unless
get
it's
into the-
Halloween, because it totally paid off.
That totally paid off. But
It
these days,
It won't always.
and how long do you have to wait to get to Halloween, right? So
At least there's an excuse, you know.
it did turn out well for him.
Always dress up as your favorite wrestler before you stalk
Yeah.
them.
That was
Yeah.
funny. What a
That
story.
was-
What a story. Well, I tell you what, we will be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
There you go.
And we'll be, of course, building up to like I said, April 8th, SHW 38. And remember, it's April 8th. It's that second Friday in April.
Yes.
So mark that down on your calendar. But something else coming up in the next couple of weeks. I do want to, if you give me a second, want to do a quick plug here. If you guys recall, I do the head shaving every year for St. Baldrick's Foundation, which raises money that goes towards childhood cancer research. We shave our heads in solidarity with the little kids that lose their hair during cancer treatment. And it's a huge deal. And so usually it's every year in March around St. Patrick's Day. They'll do it at different like Irish pubs or different restaurants, wherever. And it's always a good time. A lot of people show up, shave their heads, raise a lot of money. Last couple of years, haven't really been able to do the event. Of course, if you remember back in November, I did it for my birthday. Well, we hadn't had the event the last couple of years because of the pandemic. If you've been under a rock and didn't know why, well, there's been a pandemic. So it's back. We are having the event. It's going to be March 19th. It's at a place called O'Reilly's Public House. It's 227 Sandy Springs Place Northeast in Atlanta or Sandy Springs, Georgia. And I'm going to be one of two MCs there, and I'll be helping MC the event. And I think there's already like around 40 people shaving their heads.
Nice.
But they're doing it on the 19th of March. So like I said, a week from, as you're watching this on Friday, a week from tomorrow, 19th of March, and it's an Irish pub. So of course it's around St. Patrick's Day. So there's all kinds of, yeah, there's that. There's all kinds of festivities going on. There's Irish dancing, Irish music, all kinds of good stuff. Yeah. But of course the St. Baldrick's Foundation will be there shaving heads and all kinds of good stuff. So I will be there. If you feel the need to come out and support, then come on and join me. I will be posting too all the information in case you want to donate as well, and information if you want to join us. But I just wanted to put that out there.
Live? Are you going live when you shave or no?
Absolutely. Why not? I hadn't thought about it, but now that you mention it, it won't be as fancy as having all the computer and all the gear and stuff, but I'll use the old trusty old.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Do it on the phone there and go live as they're hold it like this as the barber's doing the the shaving. So yeah, I hadn't thought about it, but that's a good idea. You know what? I'll go live on the SHW Pod Facebook page. How about that?
Do it. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So that'll be a week from tomorrow on March 19th. But we will be back here next Friday with another episode of this wonderful podcast. And once again, before we go, one more time, let's plug that brand new shirt at SHW Pod or ProWrestlingTees.com/SHW Pod. We're tunes, exactly.
And you can get it in
black. Makes me feel like
black.
Roger Rabbit.
Oh, right? Yeah, you can get the t-shirts in black, red, and blue, along with the original SHW This Is Our Wrestling Pod t-shirt, which is all available there at ProWrestlingTees.com/SHW Pod.
We are V3.
That's right. Well, hey, we will see y'all next week. But until then, this has been
SHW.
This is Our Wrestling.